And good morning, everybody. It is Wonderful Wednesday with Conny Wladowski. And did I get that right, Conny?
Yes, it was great.
So now I met Conny. She lives in Australia. I met Conny in Las Vegas at Hypnothoughts Live, the biggest hypnosis conference in the world. And we immediately got on because we share similar protocols. We share similar beliefs and values. And I'm very excited to have you on here because no doubt we're going to get into the meaty bits of that. So, Conny, please take it away. Tell us about you. And I've already got so excited because you've got your book there and I've got your book here, and
Yes.
it's already very exciting. So, Conny, please tell us about you and your Shine trauma release process. Tell us about it.
Thank you. So I'm excited to be chatting to you today. And my name is Conny, and I've created the Shine trauma release process, which is healing from trauma or any kind of traumatic experience, whether it is from childhood, adulthood, or teenage years. But the key point is healing without regression. So it's all content-free. We don't have to go into any traumatic event. We don't have to talk about the event. The client doesn't even need to know the event, and they can still heal from it. And this is why I've created this process, because I myself have experienced trauma and anxiety. And I've been through a traditional approach where I talked about the same thing over and over again. Let's call it the problem. And I just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. And hypnosis was the one thing that helped me overcome anxiety. And it was such a life-changing experience because it was such a big problem for me that I was suddenly able to overcome, that I decided to become a hypnotherapist and then specialize exactly in trauma and in anxiety relief. And that's when I've decided to find a better and easier way to overcome trauma. Yeah. And that's why I've created the Shine trauma release process.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And I couldn't agree more because the Bunny Talk process works content free as well. We don't need to hear it, do we? We don't need to hear the story. The person knows it. Or as you said, in your case, sometimes they don't. And I agree with me. Sometimes they don't even know what it is. It's the feeling that they get of being unsafe. That's what I work with. Tell me a bit more. Is that similar with you? Is it a feeling they get?
Yeah, or it's the feeling, or whatever blocks them, whatever stops them from living, whether it's the anxiety or that developed because of the trauma or the depression or the lack of self-confidence. I look at, okay, what are they being held back by today? And this is what I'm going to clear up. And if I use the right steps, this then, can ripple back and really clear up that whole neural network. Because how you were saying that the client knows the trauma or doesn't know it, but most likely they have thought about it over and over again. Even if they haven't talked about it, they have relived it in their brain anyway. And when you think a little bit about the neuroscience, every time we think about the trauma or relive the trauma or talk about it, we're just lighting up that neural network, and it's like it's happening all over again.
Yeah.
And a client never comes, a client never comes and says, hey, heal me from trauma. They usually come and say, I am stuck with whatever it is. And that is often how you're explaining an emotion or an unsafe feeling. And a lot of people that have experienced trauma, they run on fight or flight because they're unsafe.
Yeah, I agree. They're so hypervigilant and they're constantly in distress. And it's like, and actually sometimes they come to us with behaviors and they want those cleared up because people are telling them those things need to be sorted out. But actually those issues, that's not the issue. The issue is actually the deeper stuff that needs to be released, or they need hopefully can get them to feel indifferent towards those things so that they aren't sort of like stimulated by them anymore. So it's very exciting what we do.
I love it. And, seeing clients thrive and even when a client comes to me and, I think you probably experience the same as a hypnotherapist. Often we are the last resort. A lot of the time they've tried a lot of things first, especially like I work with more adults. I know you work with more children, but when it comes to adults, people don't think of hypnotherapy as their first thing to try. So they have already probably done the traditional approach, maybe have even been on medication. And when I tell them, you know what, you can tell me as much or as little as you want about the event, we're going to just clear it up and work on it. They're like, it's almost like their body already shifts out of that fight or flight a little bit, because they're like, oh my God, I don't have to talk about it over and over again, because that's what most of our clients have already done. And I have done that. I have to be honest. Hypnosis was also my last resort, because unfortunately, it's something that is hardly ever suggested by any health practitioners. Especially, I don't know how it is in the US, but in Australia, it's always like, go medication, go to see a psychologist or psychiatrist. And it's never just the option, hey, hypnosis could also be helpful. And I'm not saying that it's the approach for every person, but what I'm working on specifically in Australia is trying to just get people to understand, okay, hypnosis is a possible solution. So they have the choice to take it. If people don't know it's a possibility, they don't even think about hypnosis.
No, you're right, actually. So on our say threads on social media, people will be saying, "Oh, who can recommend a therapist, a psychologist, a this, a that?" And it's like, so I have to be very careful and say, I am not a therapist, American therapist. I'm not a psychologist. However, I am, and I have to call myself an emotional intelligence development specialist, because I'm a master NLP practitioner and a certified consulting hypnotist. And I can help through these different modalities. So it's like, and I do actually get a lot of people getting in touch with me because they're interested, like, oh, and you don't use drugs, you don't recommend, no, I don't prescribe, I don't diagnose, I work in a different way. And fortunately for me, I actually do get a lot of referrals from psychologists and from therapists because they know the work that actually I do, because they've seen me and now they refer their clients to me. So, which is very, very helpful indeed. So I know they're always like really good clients. Chiropractors, they refer their clients to me. Do you get that, Conny? Do you get chiropractors?
Yeah, I've got quite a few GPs. I'm lucky. I've got general practitioners that because they know the work I'm doing. I might have worked with one of their patients, and then they've seen the growth. So it is becoming. I've had a few reach out to me that they want my business cards, and that's super exciting. And this is what we're working. A couple of us in Australia. I've just got my provider number, so people through private health cover can now claim hypnosis. That's a big step for Australia because they were accepting everything but hypnosis. So I feel like there's more and more steps where hypnosis just becomes more, I guess, people find out about it. And then they can say, you know what, I want to try this. Because when I went through the worst of the anxiety that I had, no one ever suggested hypnosis to me. It was just like, take more medication. I found it. I was researching online because I was so desperate because I didn't want to live like that anymore. But yeah, I didn't even know that hypnosis and anxiety, like that hypnosis could be a possible solution.
No, I know. And yet it's interesting because I think it is starting to break through now. However, there's still some way to go. And I hope, all these videos and things will help people understand that actually, because there's some kind of, I don't know, people think that you're going to make you do weird things, and we're not. And yes, you can. I've just actually learned stage hypnosis. It was a lot of fun. And yes, but people who do that, they really want to do it. They actually want to be a bit silly. They're going up on purpose. And the fact that you can actually make sort of suggest somebody to do those silly things, well, imagine what else you can do. And there's a lot of scope in there with hypnosis. If you can make somebody do something silly, then you can also make them feel very calm and relaxed and handle any situation that comes their way. And there's a lot of things that we really can do. So I'm hoping that the two will marry, to come together, and people will stop being so afraid of it.
100%. And look, I mean, Australia stage hypnosis is not that huge as it's in the States. I mean, I did stage hypnosis training and I did one stage show, which was so much fun.
Yeah.
But it's not as huge as it is in America. But I feel like in Australia, most people, when they think about hypnosis, they think about stop smoking and maybe weight loss. So like if you would ask someone on the street and ask them in Australia, what do you think when you hear the word hypnosis? It'd be those two things. So it's great to educate them and say, well, yeah, you can stop smoking. Yes, you can lose weight, but you can also overcome anxiety or lack of confidence or whatever it is.
Yeah. And again, well, it's procrastination, and which is a huge one for people. I see a lot of people who have perfectionist problems, and that again can be trauma related. I'm in the state of North Carolina, so I have to actually be really careful. I can't say that I see people for anxiety or trauma. So I have to use different words, anxious feelings. So situational stress, significant emotional events. It's quite interesting. Actually, I prefer the word significant emotional events to trauma anyway.
I like that. That's a good one.
I know, it's actually much nicer, isn't it? And then, of course, we don't want to get rid of the good ones, the good significant emotional events,
Yes, we want to keep those.
Yeah, just the bad ones. So, Conny, what's next for you? Because I know actually the next time I see you, I think it's at Hypnothoughts.
Yes. So first I will travel to Switzerland to the hypnosis conference there in June.
Oh,
my first time in Switzerland. Exciting.
Yeah.
And then then is Hypnothoughts. And then after that is NGH convention near Boston.
Yeah, Boston. Yeah. So I'll see you there as well. So
I know, it's exciting. I love going to conferences.
Yeah, I do. I know you go to way more than I do. So it's yeah, I mean that's a job in itself.
It is. I mean, it's great, really, learning from other people and talking to other people and connecting with them, because I work online with all my clients. So besides my 2 kids and my husband, I don't have much real human connection that's not through a screen. So those conferences, and living on the other side of the world, there's a lot of you guys I only get to see if I travel to Las Vegas or Boston.
Yeah. But there is quite a lot of you in Australia, though, that do hypnosis, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, we got the Australian conference once a year, and then we got the conference in New Zealand that I traveled to. So that's great. But Australia is huge in itself. So some people I don't actually see in Australia. I only see them when I travel to Hypnothoughts.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah. So, and actually, I mean, England was so tiny, but I only ever met half of the people that I know from England in Las Vegas. So I didn't know them in England. So it's like you have to go to these conferences to meet our people, if you like. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah. So when's your next training that you've got on for Shine?
I believe it's starting in September. So I'm going to have the conferences or either end of September or start of October. So that everyone from the conferences can join the training. I've I've figured out the time that everyone from the world can be available, because I do it online. And then with that training, they can, become a certified Shine practitioner. So I'm hoping to get people from different places and really start getting that out. And with Australia, even with the Australian Hypnosis Association, people that do the training can actually get their points, their development points that they have to do each year, because it's been accredited now. So yeah, hopefully I'll get a bunch of people, and it'd be also fun to start then connecting a few more New Zealand people that are really, on the other side of the world, and get connecting people together, and hopefully also some people that are at the Swiss conference.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I'm really happy for you, and so we're both doing these things together. So it's exciting, because I've got my the bunny talk process, and I've got a training in New Zealand. I've been joined with yourself and John Lawrence Akers. And so that's in June. So to try and get the Australian dates, but we'll make sure we put both of our links in the comments for people, so that they can have a look and see what it's about. And again, especially your book, as well. I'll get my book in there as well. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend this to everybody. And I love that, you know, and thank you for being vulnerable. You know, it's important. It is, you know, people want to know, you know, it's like, oh, she gets me.
Yes. And that's what most of my clients feel like when I start working with them. You know, when they know that I've experienced anxiety to the point where I could barely leave the house. And, you know, I've experienced trauma. And when I say just to them, oh, you know, this is what I used to feel, they're like, their first thing is like, oh my God, I feel exactly the same way. And that already gives them such a space of, hey, I'm feeling understood. Because a lot of our clients just don't think we understand them or don't. And I didn't feel understood when I was going through the approach. I never had anyone say, hey, yeah, that's normal, or that's it's okay to feel like that when you're going through this. I always felt like, oh, something's wrong with me and I'm so not normal. And when people see, especially my clients, and because a lot of my clients do find me on Facebook, and when I tell them, you know, it's 8 years ago that I couldn't leave the house, and now I'm traveling the world, that excites them because they can see I'm a real human being that went through all of that. To having daily panic attacks, you know.
It's fabulous because you're showing them the possibilities, and then actually you're giving them hope, and it's not false hope because you're living, eating and breathing it.
100%. And I keep working on myself as well. You know, I do keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone because I do challenge my clients. I get them to push themselves a little bit out of their comfort zone. So I keep doing that as well because, you know, to be honest, publishing a book was quite scary, and being so vulnerable in it, and then being like, oh my God, I'm publishing a book in a language that's not even my first language. So there was many moments of being scared about it, or maybe some of my old limiting beliefs started coming up again. But you know, this is where my clients actually push me to keep working on myself, because I see them working so hard and thriving. So that I'm like, I'm doing the same. And that's why I published the book. And that's why I overcame my fear of public speaking. I had such a huge fear of public speaking and avoided every possibility, every opportunity to ever speak anywhere. Like I remember in school, I was always sick on those days, or in university.
Yeah.
Because I had such a fear of it, like to the point where I would like shake before I have to speak. And then I traveled to Hypnothoughts and was like, I'm going to overcome this because, yeah, that's just another thing in my head. It's just another thing that I believe.
Story. Yeah.
Yes, it's just another story. And look, now I'm loving it.
Yeah. Amazing. And as you say, I love that you're still saying that you're working on yourself, because I am too, you know. It's like I'm a work in progress, and that's fine. You know, it's okay. You know, anything crappy that comes up in my life, I go, what am I meant to be learning now? You know, I'm like, what am I learning about myself or other people? And it's okay.
100%. Anytime I get triggered,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't like that word, but let's say anytime something comes up, I do then be like, okay, what is happening right now? You know, am I just reacting because of what's really happening, or what's coming up? And I actually, one of the presentations I've been writing was about overcoming, you know, your childlike resources and trying to solve your adult problems with it. And as I was writing this presentation, oh my God, some stuff I think my nervous system definitely got a bit of triggered, where I'm like, oh, some of that old stuff, that old insecurity stuff and lack of confidence and self-doubt started coming up again. But the great news is, or the great thing is, I'm aware of it, and I can work through it, if you want to call it that way.
Yeah. Or actually just recognize it for what it is.
Yes.
And hold space for it. And it's like, and then just keep it there and go, what does it need? How can I look after that?
100%.
Because it needs something. It might need a little bit of love. It might need a little bit of nurturing. It might need a bit of education. It might need something. And then it's like, okay. And just hold, you know, it's just giving it space, holding it carefully, because we all have stuff, something, as you say, that word triggered, I know, but the issues, something will come up, and we never know when it's going to happen. And it's just like, well, let's get curious. That's what I do. I get curious. what is that about? So I hold space for it, and I will gently look after it. And at some point I may dream the answer, or somebody else will say something, or I'll read something. Oh, that's what I'm meant to be learning. Or then I'll have a client who comes in with something similar, and I'll be going, that's why. Okay. And I'll have already maybe sorted that out. And then I'll go, this is what happened. And just, it means that I'm able to be more empathic towards them, because again, I've been reminded of how much it might seem so silly, but how much that can actually hurt still. And it's often our inner child. So I know you said I actually do work with an awful lot of adults, because I see a lot of people with inner child issues. Because it goes from way back when, and you know, and I often find, sadly, it is often from the first thing that happened when they were little, the initial sensitizing event, and you know, and then there's an activating event. But you don't need, they often know it. You don't need to go searching. They know the
100%,
feeling. They know 100%. The feeling. They know the feeling. You don't need to go delving into it. And with sometimes with the eye movements that I use, and I don't exactly know necessarily what you use, and I would love to learn more. As I'm doing it, they go, oh gosh, I've just remembered this. And that means they were meant to. If it's come up, they were meant to. If it's meant to be suppressed and it's never meant to be found out, then it's never meant to be found out.
I agree. If it comes up, because it comes up, all right. But if people are being forced, and you know what? Sometimes people even make up stories when they're being forced to find a reason or a logical explanation, just so it makes sense in their own head.
Right.
If they're forced, you know, if you're being put on the spot and and then you're like, oh, maybe that might have happened to me because, you know, that would make sense. But if we don't digging, that's not going to happen, you know?
No, it's just the feeling, that feeling of unease or not being safe, or it happens so often. I see people, you know, or just noise. Noise can be something. And then, because then that can cause people with misophonia. They don't like people chewing around them or making a lot of noise around them because of something and it wasn't a thing, it was just noise, too much noise. So let's think about that noise and let's do something, work with that. And as I say, I might do eye movements or havening on that noise, and then it just goes in the right place where it's meant to.
I just had a client recently. She was an adult, but whenever she heard slamming of the doors, she would get panic and anxiety. And it was just a childhood thing where her parents would argue a lot, and she would sit in her bedroom and she would hear them yell and slam doors and argue a lot. And they never laid a hand on her, and they weren't violent with her, but that just that noise triggered that nervous system back into that fight or flight or fear, or I'm scared or danger, threat, whatever situation. We were able to clear it up within 2 sessions.
Yeah, it's often something somaticized within the senses. So smell is a huge one. You know, there's so many, and so we get curious. That's all. We just get curious, and we do our, as I say, we both do wonderful work. I know we do.
Yes.
Big pat on the back. There we go. Aren't we amazing?
Well, you know what? I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. It's I don't know. I enjoy it. I just enjoy it. It's just
it's not work to me. I love it.
Yeah.
I know. And I love it when we're all together, all as hypnotists, because we're all like this. And some of us do have different viewpoints, and that's quite fun as well, because we're like going, I don't know about that. Or it's like, or tell me more. That's interesting. I've not thought of that, you know, and there's just so much. And I know that we could all talk about it forever. So that's why, you know, I love all the conferences as well, because it's just being with our people, and the energy is like literally vibrating, isn't it?
I know it is. It's vibrating. Everybody's excited. People want to learn from each other. People want to meet each other, because sometimes you've known people online for years and then suddenly it's the first time you meet them in person. That's always exciting as well. And it just feels good. Yeah, it feels good to be around your people, and I think people that are just, you know, we all have the same mission at the end of the day. We all have the same passion, and I think that's a big connecting thing between us. The passion and the mission to make people feel better, heal them, or what, you know, again,
Help
healing
people.
is such a word, but help them overcome whatever they're stuck with.
Yeah, help people move on, be the best they possibly can be. You know, be, you know, just be, you know, just be and happy in your own skin, comfortable.
Be present, be safe. Whatever.
All those wonderful things that people are wanting. I mean, and you know, and that doesn't even necessarily mean being happy like 100% of the time, because there is no happy, but it's always about being in the gain near the happy bit, just so that you are just okay.
That's it. And you know what? Even I'm all about empowering my clients. So I teach my clients tools when they have a challenging time, because life will throw challenges at us. It is just how do we look at them? Yeah. First of all, because it's a way of looking at a challenge. And how do we move through them?
Exactly. That's exactly what I do as well. I give all my clients techniques and strategies to handle life, because it's going to go up and down like that. I can't stop that. We can't stop that, can we, Conny?
No, and I mean, I'm sure you use those tools yourself when you have those phases. I do as well. I tell my clients, hey, what I'm teaching you is what I used 8 years ago to overcome daily panic attacks, but I use it now when I travel the world, when I publish a book, when I deal with my 2.5-year-old daughter at the moment that throws a lot of tantrums.
Yeah, I use this certain breathing technique because they've got really big trucks here in America. You know, when you're driving along, and I'm like, oh my God, he's right behind me.
Oh,
so yeah, I have to use this. Hold it, and then. You know,
yeah, well, that's what I do when my daughter is on the floor throwing a tantrum.
Oh, you have to breathe yourself. Yeah,
I do.
Before you end up on the floor with her. Oh, brilliant. That's so funny. Oh dear. Okay. Well, I could talk to you all night, Conny, and I appreciate you being on here. We'll put your links and everything and up trainings, and I'll put mine in as well for everybody. So it's been wonderful chatting to you. Now I will see you in the summer. So that's exciting. So thank you for watching, everybody. And it's goodbye from me, Claudia Ricard, and it's goodbye from
Conny Wladowski. And thank you.
So take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.